All right, we'll get it started with Barry Bloom. Barry, go ahead.
Wow, off the top today. That's very significant.
Thank you.
Ricky Henderson of today's Zoom media session.
Yes, and I could swipe and paste with the best of them. So, I'm working on a story on the new ballpark in Arlington finally opening, and I see not only are you there for the Friday opener, you're also there for a couple of exhibition games next week. What kind of take do you have on it and getting down there and being the first team to play in there?
I think that's always a great experience to open up a ballpark. I think, if I recall, the Padres opened up Citi Field when that first opened up. Jody Garrett, I believe, hit the first home run in Citi Field history. If somebody could look that up while we're going through this, that would be we can verify that. Maybe, Abby, you can verify that. But anyway, no, we're looking forward to it. This will be my third ballpark down there in Arlington. So that's saying something. But I've heard it's a great ballpark. It's fresh, it's new. I think it's exciting for people down in Texas. There are great baseball people down there. It's a great sports community in the Metroplex. And we'll go down there as the Colorado Rockies and hope to open that stadium in fine winning fashion as a visiting team. But
it'll be weird to do it in front of no fans.
Yeah, it's going to be no fan. It's a weird one. We've talked about that before.
Yeah,
it's going to be weird. It's sort of it's a little bit of a bummer, right? Because that place would be buzzing. First ever game. Those are always cool. So it's going to be different again. But we'll get a look at it on Tuesday, the 21st and 22nd in exhibition games. Try to get a feel for it the best we can and be ready for Friday night.
All right. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Jody Garrett hit a leadoff home run off of Mike Pelfrey at Citi Field.
First hitter of Citi Field?
Yes.
Yes.
Thomas Harding, go ahead.
I think we went on to win that game, if I'm not mistaken, the Padres.
6-5.
What year was that?
It was in 2009.
Heath Bell got the save?
That is correct. Thomas?
Hey, buddy, you have a couple of guys in Hampson and Chris Owings. Look like they have a lot of the same skills. How much does having a 30-man roster as opposed to 26-man roster really help you, especially in that regard, where you have two guys you could use at a different part of the game, but they bring some of the same things?
Yeah, you're right. You have two weapons, two good weapons. You got the speed weapon. You got sneaky power weapon. You got versatility weapon. You got, I think two guys who play the game the right way, who can be pests per se to the opposition. So it's nice to have two of them as the game rolls on. Whether they're both starting, whether one of them's starting, whether they're both on the bench. I mean, you got weapons in a lot of different ways. So you're right, Thomas. With the 30-man roster, it's advantageous, and for a 26-man roster, it might be advantageous also.
Yeah, that was my follow-up question. Was that going to be a tough decision between the two of those, or were you kind of looking at how these parts fit?
Yeah, we were looking at how those parts fit. They could both very well fit.
And just to follow up after today's intra-squad game, what's the plan throughout the rest of the week with intra-squads, sim games? Do you have that set?
Well, yeah. Tomorrow there's going to be no live pitching tomorrow. We're going to go through a plethora of drills tomorrow, some fundamentals. We'll resume again on Friday night with an inter-squad game, and another one on Saturday and another one on Sunday. So these guys will be getting game-like action over the weekend. Tomorrow it's going to be a mid-morning start, about 10, I believe. I got to follow up with the coaches on the exact starting time. So through the weekend, we'll play more games, get our pitchers back out there facing our hitters. We'll do a few things, this weekend, fine tune some things. So, that's sort of it in a nutshell, and sort of a broad perspective for you, Thomas.
Thanks.
Tracy Ringlesby, go ahead. Trace?
Will you go to Texas and work out there on Monday to get used to that stadium, or will you just wait and play the game on Tuesday?
We're going to work out here on Monday morning and then fly down to Texas Monday afternoon.
Thank you.
Kyle Fredrickson, go ahead.
Hey, buddy, we had a chance to talk with Drew Butera a minute ago and also kind of speak on the aspect of just really the depth that you guys have at catcher this year. What makes this group unique and also within it kind of separates the catchers that you do have?
Well, I think as a group, they're all very in tuned with what I feel is the most important aspect of that position, and that's the relationship with the pitcher. Their ability to communicate with the pitching staff, their ability to communicate with the pitching coaches, the manager, everything involved on the pitching side, all those guys. And even Elias Diaz, who's new to us this year, has adapted well to a lot of our philosophies and what we preach. So that's the main thing out of that group is that, they're defensive minded, they're run prevention minded. They want to bring out the best in each and every pitcher. Again, there's, the group, again, there's, a lot of similarities. Are there wide gaps between those guys talent-wise? Probably not. I mean, it's a talented group. So, we feel good about, their skill level. I want to say even, Dom Nunez, Chris Rabago, Tony, these guys have been with me now since my inception here, through spring trainings, through the big leagues, even though Rabago hasn't hit the big leagues yet. Those guys are familiar with our coaching staff, our pitching coaches. Drew's been with us for a couple years now, veteran catcher with a lot of savvy. And Elias Diaz is, caught up to speed really quickly as well. So it's a good group. We're confident in their ability and what they can do to contribute to a win, both defensively and with the bat.
Larry Patrick, go ahead.
Yes, buddy, you may have talked about this in the last couple of weeks or so, but are you looking to rotate players in the DH position or using one or two players throughout?
We'll probably rotate Larry. I think it makes sense with our group. You can see, potentially Kemp getting some DH at bats. You can see Murphy getting some DH at bats. Whether it's Nolan, Charlie, Trevor, a day off their feet on defense could help them if they DH on a given night. So, these are some of the things we'll think about as we move forward with the DH. But you can see us in that sort of scenario.
Also, are there relief pitchers on staff that you may call on more often than others because of the new 3-batter rule?
It's going to be important that our pitchers are able to, lengthen their inning because of this new rule. We're monitoring that. We're evaluating our pitchers. We're assessing their ability to not be specialists, to come in and get one hitter, whether it's a righty or a lefty. We want, our entire staff to be able to, to handle 3 hitters. But on the other hand, Larry, you got to remember now, if a pitcher comes in with 2 outs in an inning, he could potentially face only one guy. If he gets him out, then he can be removed.
Right.
So that one out could be very important too. So that can act as a specialized role if that pitcher is really efficient at getting, that first hitter out. That might be a very big out, whether it's a tough right-handed hitter and we want to bring a right-handed pitcher in to get him. Our expectation is that he gets him, ends the inning, and then we can adjust from there who pitches the next inning. Or it'd be nice if he's able to go back out and face a couple more hitters. So, that's something that we're evaluating as well, the first batter efficiency and whether there's some specialized guys out there with, certain pitch mix or a certain pitch that, really can come in and nail down that one out in the 6th, 7th, or 8th inning or 9th inning, whatever it may be, and we can go on from there.
Thanks, Bud.
Yep.
All right, we'll go to Kevin Henry. Reminder, if you have a question, to raise your hand, or else this will be the last question. Kevin, go ahead.
Hey, buddy. Thanks for the time.
You got
Appreciate
it,
it.
Kevin.
Hey, from a defensive standpoint, guys like Kemp and Owings who have played at Coors before, but this wasn't their home ballpark, is there an advantage to getting summer camp at Coors so they can get used to the defensive side of the ballpark?
A little bit, for sure. I think that, again, you're talking about veteran players who, are conditioned over the years to be in different ballparks and move around. But I think it does help those guys get reacclimated to Coors Field for a length of time. And this is going to be, a 20-day window or so. It helps. And I think it helps, all our players. Even from a physical standpoint of training, these 20 days in altitude, which will get them in, a condition that maybe they weren't able to get into in Arizona or, a team that trains in Florida. So it has had its advantages as far as the physical aspect.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Yep.
All right, we'll go to Stephanie from Sports Illustrated with the last question. Stephanie, go ahead.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well.
Hi.
Thank you. Welcome to Denver.
Thank you. What have you seen from Daniel Bard so far?
Daniel's throwing the ball great. I'm encouraged and I'm optimistic. I think what we saw in spring training 1 really led us to believe that, this comeback could happen. In the regular scheme of things that, when we started in February, we were thinking that this is a 162 game season. We'll get Daniel back on his feet, get him through a spring training. We'll see if he makes the team or not. If he doesn't, he can go to AAA, which he was, obviously on board to do and be a part of the Rocky organization and let him get settled back into, the groove of a professional season. Again, now this is a different animal here now, and he's come back after 3 months away, of 3 months of training back home in North Carolina, throwing bullpens, throwing simulated games, throwing to hitters back there, coming in here and showing sort of the same things he showed in Scottsdale, a chance to be a contributor. And with a 30-man roster, it could very well happen. But I'm seeing a lot of good things as far as the stuff, the fastball, the secondary pitches, the feel for the change. He's in a really good spot, and I'm happy for him. He's a good guy, all those things. But I think more importantly, I think there's potential there to be an impact arm in our bullpen.
Have you looked back at video of him when he was going well in the past and when he was going poorly in the past?
Yep.
And what do you see?
And I've also double-checked with Dave Magadan, who had him in Boston, right? I've asked Dave, the other night when Daniel was pitching, Dave and I were 6 feet apart, and I asked Dave, does it look like Bard of the Red Sox when you were there? And he goes, absolutely. So, Dave has a keen eye. So, it was very similar as far as his arm action, his mechanics, his stuff, and what I saw, video of Daniel years ago, what we've seen this year, what I saw on video prior to signing him, it all looks right.
Does he look any different than he did in Scottsdale? You think he's made changes over?
No, again, he's pitched, in a couple inter squad games here. He's thrown a couple bullpens. It looks very similar to, it looks the same as it did in Scottsdale.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. All right,
Thank you,
guys.
buddy.